All right, this is for Algebra 2, Semester 1. We're going to be on page 74 and 75. And number 1 is actually on the oral exercises. Absolute value of x is less than or equal to 3. They want us to graph, or solve and graph, I should say. Solve and graph. Now this is exactly what you should write on your line paper, and you show the exact work that I'm showing. Absolute value means that we could have two possible answers. There's positive numbers that we could drop in here that are less than or equal to 3. There's negative numbers we can drop in here that are less than or equal to 3, because this absolute value is going to make everything positive. So the shortcut in a nutshell is to take the same sign and put a negative on the other side. So that you're going to have x is greater than or equal to negative 3, and you have x is less than or equal to positive 3. So you broke this answer up, and you broke this answer up. The two. You got this one, and you got this one. And then you draw your number line. At 3, you're going to have a closed dot because there's a line, there's an equal sign under it. And at negative 3, you're going to put a closed dot. This one is telling us to graph to the right. This one is telling us to graph to the left. So the absolute value graph would be that all those numbers in between. That means that you could put in a negative 2 or a negative 1 or a 1 or a 2, and you could get a right answer to the original problem. Look at the original problem. Absolute value of x is less than or equal to 3. If I took a negative 2 and dropped it in there, absolute value of negative 2 comes out as a 2, and is that less than or equal to 3? And the answer is yes, it does work. So all of these are right answers to our original equation. You're going to do 2 through 8 the exact same way. Let me do number 5. Some of them are equal, so I'm going to skip around a little bit. You need to pause the video and catch up and do 2, 3, and 4. Just like I did number 1, you can do that, or you can go straight to 5 and then come back to those other ones. Absolute value of s plus 3 equals 3. This time it's just equal, so you're going to bring that same one over and put negative 3. And you want to solve it, so you're going to subtract 3 on both sides. You get s equals 0, and s equals negative 6. So in this case, you're going to have a dot at 0 and a dot at negative 6. Those would be your two solutions. There's no shading on that one because they're just equal. It's not less than or greater than. Again, pause the video if you need to pause it to catch up. I'm also going to do number 7 for you. So 3t minus 1 is less than or equal to 2. Bring the less than or equal to sign over and put negative 2. And then solve it first. So we're going to add 1 to both sides. Those will cancel out. You'll still have 3t. That's coming down. You'll still have a less than or equal. You'll have a 3 here. Here you'll have a less than or equal and a negative 1. Divide by 3. So you're going to get negative 1/3 is less than or equal to t. That's one solution. I would flip that around so that you can see it like this, just because you want the t in front. You also have this one over here, which t is less than or equal to 1, is your second solution. Those are your two solutions. You draw a quick number line. 1 is an answer, and it's a closed dot because it says equals. Negative 1/3 is going to be right about there. And it's also a closed dot. And if you notice, this one is telling me to shade to the right. This one is telling me to shade to the left. You can't do the arrow here because the t's not in front. T needs to be in front. So right, left, so it's again going to be between these two. And that's, you're going to get that graph in the middle. Every time you have a less than sign, you're going to get a middle graph always. So those are your little numbers. Those are your less than numbers. Let me see. The rest of those should be the same. 9 through 18 or 17 should be about the same. Okay, you have to do all the way up to 27, so let me do a few more with you. You should be able to do some of the easier ones. I'll do 13, which looks like a little harder of a one. 1 minus x over 3 is greater than or equal to 2/3. Let's bring this sign over, greater than or equal to, if it's negative 2/3. Let's subtract, well no, let's multiply everything by 3. Just to get rid of our fraction. Negative 2 greater than or equal to 3 minus x. Those 3's will cancel out. Greater than or equal to, and a 2. Now you want to subtract 3 on both sides. That's a negative 5. You get a negative x, and you get a negative 1. And now you've got to divide by negative 1. You don't want negative x, you want positive x. And when you divide by a negative, these switch. So this is going to be a positive 5 and a positive 1, and again, you're going to have these two less than signs. So again, you're going to have the inside numbers. So you got a 0 here, here's a 1, here's a 5. You're going to have two closed dots, and you're going to shade everything in the middle. It's going to be less than. So that means that I could put a 3 in here, and I would have a right answer. So 3. Check that just to make sure. Okay, upon further review, this shaded inside part is not correct. You're going to shade the outside part, and we started with a greater than sign. That means we need to shade this outside area. That's where your right answers are located. That means if I plug a 0 in, you will get a right answer. 0 over 3 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. Absolute value of 1 is 1, which is greater than 2/3. So 0 is a right answer, and 5, 6, 7 are all right answers. The wrong answers are the ones in the middle. The greater than sign is going to be the outside number. So that was 13. Let me move down to 19. And then you can be filling in the other ones. You got absolute value of x plus 5 minus 3 equals 1. You need to get this by itself. So let's add 3 first. So you get that absolute value of x plus 5 equals 4. Now you can bring this equals to the other side of this absolute value and put a negative 4. Equal sign or less than signs or whatever have to go right next to the absolute value. Subtract 5, and you're going to get x equals negative 1 and negative 9. You do not have to graph these. Those bottom ones just say to solve. So 19 through 27, you're just solving. Let me do one more. I'll do 25. That looks like a heart. 4 plus 2 absolute value. 3t minus 5 over 2 greater than 5. Let's subtract 4 first. 2 absolute value 3t minus 5 over 2 is greater than 1. And then let's divide everything by 2 because we want to get the absolute value by itself. Absolute value of 3t minus 5 over 2 needs to be by itself, and it's greater than 1/2. So we're going to bring over the greater than sign and bring over a negative 1/2. And we'll multiply everything by 2 to get rid of our fraction. So -1 greater than absolute value of 3t minus 5 greater than 1 add 5 to get rid of the 5. So that's going to give you a 4, 3t, and a 6. Divide by 3. And you get your two answers. 4/3 is, we have our greater than sign. We have our t greater than and t. There's your answer to 25. So the rest of those on that page you should be able to work out, figure out. Page 78 have the exact same kind of problems. So if you go to page 78, number 1, you've just got absolute value of w equals 4. So you're going to come over here and put equals -4, and there's your answers. 4 and -4 would be your two solutions. So that's what you're doing there. If you go to number 5, you can do the rest of them. Absolute value of u greater than or equal to 2. You're going to bring this sign over and put a -2. -2 greater than or equal to u greater than or equal to positive 2. And it would probably be a good idea to learn how to break it into two pieces. This first piece is going to be u is less than or equal to -2, because you're switching these two sides. And the second one is just right there. U is greater than or equal to 2. So it'd be a good idea to get used to breaking them into two pieces. So that's page 78. And in your worksheet, they already have the number lines for you. All you have to do is the graphs. Let me do number 1 just to get you started. Absolute value of m over 2 is less than 4. So we're going to bring over the less than sign and put a -4. We're going to multiply everything by 2 because we don't want a fraction. So -8 is less than m is less than +8. And like I said, it's a good idea to learn how to break it into two. This is m is greater than -8. Got to switch it around. The m should always be in the front, especially if you want to know which way to shade. That'll show you the arrow on which way to shade. And this one's got the m already in front. M is less than 8. So they already have a number line there for you. You got your 0, you've got your 8, you've got your -8, and they're both open circles. And it's going to be going in between each other because it was a less than. The original problem has a less than. It's going to always be the middle. So that's how you're going to do the worksheet. They're pretty much all the same on that worksheet. Should be pretty easy. All right. If you have any questions, please come up and get help.